So, hi guys, welcome to Simandhar Education. So today we have Akshay Jaiswal, one of our Simandhar student who have got some amazing scores in CPA with the last exam which happened. So he scored 96 in BEC and 94 in REG. And welcome Akshay to Simandhar Education. We are extremely honored to have you here today. And first of all, congratulations. And we are extremely delighted to see you getting that score. And I'm sure that the What Sells Award will go to you with the way the scores are being kept into. So first of all, congratulations, Akshay, and thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks a lot, Shripal. It's a great feeling, and congrats to you too that all the students are getting such high scores. And for me, it's like a big achievement because being a working professional and doing CPA altogether and getting such scores it's amazing actually. And regarding the What Sells Award, that's a big faith that you are putting into me. So actually, I'll strive towards it, but let's see. We cannot predict that, right?
Yeah, that is there, but we are pretty sure that you should be getting that. So because Sharon was the last topper getting like 94, 95s from Simandhar, I'm pretty sure that you should be able to get it too with the scores and with the momentum which you have and the family support, which is very important. So first question straight away, Akshay, because a lot of them were requesting me that, sir, please have it with Akshay because he have scored so much. So the first question straight away coming across, why did you select US CPA, Akshay, when you were already a qualified chartered accountant? What tempted you to select US CPA?
So I get this question a lot, Shripal. My answer is almost always the same. That after being a decade into the leaving the studies, becoming a chartered accountant, and having experience, I was always thinking about updating myself and updating myself through all the seminars and all was going along. But I was thinking about getting into something that will holistically give me something that will further my career path. So I was going around, I was thinking about it because it's a big decision. So I took advice from many people, and then with you also I consulted, and I zeroed on CPA because it is actually the US equivalent of CA, and being an international degree, it somehow CA is in the Indian context, it's the biggest degree in accounting field, that's no doubt. But having an international degree further makes you more qualified to get into things that you were not earlier uh, were able to do. So like for example, right now if you see, most of the US companies are in India. They have set up for many years, they have set up their offices and their entire operations in India. Now if you have a CA plus CPA, that is truly an added advantage, and it gives you a lot of things that I had not been updated. And now basically I feel like I am becoming ready for the future. So definitely it's a advantageous thing to have an international degree under your kitty.
So I think I was just taking Bobby's interview a couple of days back. So she have got Standard Chartered Bank offer, and she's also chartered, and she just passed, I think, regulation with 92. So I just interviewing her, and I can just so much relate to that lines which you're talking about, that the US companies opening up their divisions here in India. I think we have a lot of the examples already. A lot of our students getting offers in Morgan and JP Morgan and Standard Chartered, and I'm pretty sure Akshay, you're already working with Quest. So I think you should be. I'll not tell that you'll move out from the company, but yes, it will definitely make a strong case for further growth in all the companies which will be moving out later, if you feel so that there is a requirement as such. Second question, Akshay, scoring 96 in BC, 94 in REC. Now, what were the challenges you faced while preparing for US CPA?
So, Sripal, in this context, I would say that when I was studying, it was never my goal to have these kind of scores because going into it, I was scared because I was starting it after a long time. I was not sure that how I will be able to cope up or not, because you know that when we were having full-time studies, it's a very different thing from having a studies during working life. And with family and all. So, but I got all those thoughts away from me when I had this theory. I thought that anyway I'm a CA, so I can do it, and there is no scope of not passing. So that was a big burden on me. Once that burden was off, then I was able to focus on studies. So the key thing here is if you focus on the concepts and the studies fully instead of having one eye on your goal, then it becomes really easier. So the challenges that were there was obviously there is a what do you say, job you have to maintain, you have a family, and you have to squeeze in time to study also. But once I had this mentality of studying for the sake of gaining knowledge, then it became very lesser of a work or a burden on me, and it became very smooth. It was like a flow. So I was enjoying studying every day. So that was the thing that helped me sail through and getting these scores.
So the third question, Akshay, I have is how is CPA different from chartered accountancy, and what is the importance of a training institute here, and people who are doing a self-study? What do you think? Like, unlike our chartered accountancy, how did you find CPA different from there?
So, chartered accountancy and CPA are equivalent of each other, but there are certain differences. So, for example, CPA is a single level exam. So, you can clear it off within 1 year. I would not suggest going very fast, take your own pace, but CA will definitely require you much more time. Then again, both will give you the highest level of accounting exposure. So that way they are equivalent or similar. Now coming to CPA, there are a lot of requirements.
Correct.
Initially, you have to get your evaluation, and you have to understand the structure. It is not a very straightforward thing, like because it's a separate country, right? We have been born and brought up in India, and in Indian context, the CA is very much straightforward, that we have to do this, and this is how our structure has been, like plus two, BCom, CA, everything is like very much streamlined. Here it is not like that. In CPA, you have to get your evaluation done, which is the biggest task. That once that was done with the help of Simandhar Education, then only we were able to get into the second step. Now, if someone goes into self-study mode with CPA, I think it will be a bit challenging, because without knowing what are the steps to be done, I think it will get prolongated, the entire process. So it's always better to get guidance. It's always better to get in touch with training institute. And I think you guys are doing a great job on
Thank
that.
you.
For not only me, I see everyone, like in our group, study community on Telegram group is there, and even on LinkedIn, everywhere I see that people are really appreciating your job, because it's a value add. It's definitely a value add that gets you enter. Otherwise, what will happen is that a person is going and he's seeing that so much complexities are there, so much requirements are there. I have to get from my university all the transcripts and everything. So he will get scared at that point only, and he will think, okay, let us do some course where all these requirements are not there. But once a coach or once a mentor guides the person on the entire process, not only evaluation, after that also there are many these in the CPA you will find like 4 websites are there for 4 different things.
Correct.
So you have to know which website to go, where to do what things, and in that perspective, these are the differences between CA and CPA. However, as regards to getting the reputation, you say, or the acceptability, you say, I think both are very much equivalent in that sense.
That's a terrific answer because a lot of the institutes are misguiding that CPA is superior or CA is superior than CPA, and also I think that's a worthless talk because both are top qualifications in their own countries, and they have their own requirements based on the interest of the audience. If someone wants to go into a US company, I would rather prefer that he is a chartered accountant in India also. If I'm in India right now with my subsidiary, but I'd rather have a CPA knowledge also with him so that he understand the culture and the US accounting and the taxation. So Akshay, the next question is how can a working professional manage their study and how many hours do you think that they must devote for CPA? Because I get a lot of the questions from people who are working, sir, how many hours I need to study for FAR, for BEC, for audit, for regulation. So what do you think? Like how many hours you have put into BEC and REG, and can you measure quality in terms of hours, or is it in the based of concepts? So what is your take on this question? And a lot of working professionals do CPA. I think this is one of their important question, I would say.
So yeah, I think that is a very valid question, because initially I was also faced with these challenges. It's a mental battle actually, because half of the people, as you rightly said, half of the people are who are doing CPA are working professionals, and other half is like studying full time. And as I said earlier, both are poles apart. The strategies must be different. The person who is doing a full-time studying, his strategy should be to complete it as fast as possible, so that he can get into a job. And a working professional, not having the burden of doing this for the sake of a job, should do it to gain the entire concept, and there is time constraint. So what I was doing initially, I was having all the planned scheduled, a strict schedule I was having, but then very soon I realized that having a strict schedule will not work, because there are work commitments. Some days something will come which will happen for 2 3 days, it will continue and will not be able to study. So then I became very much more flexible. Otherwise I was getting very much frustrated, and I know many of the working professionals will be getting that vibes. So what I did is, instead of focusing on input hours, I focused on what output is coming out. So I made my target that within a week I will be doing these many of modules. There are like in our CPA course, it is subject wise, it is divided into chapters and then modules. So it's a very very user friendly, or even working professional friendly sort of syllabus that has been made by Becker. So I targeted that these many modules I should do. This is the output thing, instead of focusing on how many hours I am giving in, because it will always be varying. It's not a straight line thing, it will always be like a fluctuating thing. So that way I was able to measure myself also, that I'm completing this much, and also I was not getting frustrated by not being able to put much hours into it. So that was basically how I was doing it, and I would suggest everyone to follow this only, especially the working professionals, because measuring it by the number of hours put in, and even if it is not effective, then it is of no use. You should always target that how many modules you are able to cover.
So, what was your preparation strategy for BEC, Akshay? Because this is the most awaited question now, which I have asked. So, 96 was your score, and I think this is the top score at Simandhar Education, at least from our all our student side. 93 was scored by Tripti, who was our previous alumni. So, you have surpassed her. What is that uniqueness you have seen in BEC, and what will be your tips for the students who are preparing for the BEC section, especially the written communication sense, because 15% weightage is of written sense. And what is that you expect the people here who are watching that they should follow when they are preparing for BEC? Apart from the live classes which Simandhar already gives, apart from the faculty thing, but what is that they should study in the subject? Because there are a lot of non-Simandhar students also who are watching us live on YouTube today. So what is that you see it in BEC that they should focus more on?
So BEC is like a mixed bag. Although I found it initially, I didn't start it very much sequentially. I had what I had done is, in within BEC you will find subtopics, like there is costing, there is financial management, economics is there, IT is there, corporate governance is there, everything is there actually. Whatever you would have studied, basics you would have studied in BCom, or in depth you would have studied in CA, everything is getting covered in this subject. So what I did is, I started with whatever was I was most comfortable with, costing, because as a working professional also I do a lot of costing. So that way I started with that. And what happened is that after that it was a flowing thing. What matters in BC is that you need to have an open mind, because there is a lot of open subject. It is, the name itself is business concepts, right? Business environment and concepts. So you need to be aware of what is happening. I would suggest, see, the working professionals will already be having experience in business some at some level, but whoever is not working and he is doing full-time study, I'll definitely tell them to read some business newspapers, so that they will get some context out of it, that what they are reading and what is happening in the real world. So that is very much necessary, because when I went into the exam, I saw that not all the questions are coming from what is the syllabus, because as you know that CPA does not have a strict syllabus per se. They can have any questions, and under the sun they can ask anything, and especially in BC. So what my suggestion is, you do all the chapters, but along with doing the chapters, you try to Google it and try to correlate whatever you are learning with the real world. That will help you a lot, except for one topic, that is IT, as you know.
Yes.
So IT is one topic that is there, and you will have to know, because that is related to audit also, and as you know, CAT, computer aided audit techniques, and all those things come into play. But it's a very BS topic. You need to just do it, and you need to have some Google, and you need to do as much as possible. But then also, you should not be in the exam, you should go with the open mind. That's my bottom line, because what happens is, many a times they will give some curveball. So you should not get like scared, because that curveball will not be the entire paper. You need to understand that. I get this question a lot, that what will happen if IT they are giving more and I am not prepared for that. So I always tell them, even Bobby I have told that you should focus on all the subjects, because they will ask from everything. They will not ask from IT itself only. Now coming to written communication, so that's a very interesting thing, because that is only applicable to BEC, and it's basically a memo or an email that you have to send. Now Becker has done a fabulous job. In there is a guy called Mike Potenza, one of the lecturers who gives the Skill Master video. He has a structure which I also followed very methodically. So the structure is like, you give an introduction, you give the explanation, and you give the conclusion. That's it. In between, you have to throw in the keywords, the buzzwords, and all those things. But the thing is that what most people are scared of is that it's like an essay, right? You have to memorize and you have to remember whatever they ask. So my answer is that you cannot. Okay, I also didn't,
Hmm.
because they had asked questions that I didn't know fully. Okay, and that can happen with everyone. I think that will happen with everyone. So what is the major point is that you follow the structure. You What I also did additionally is, I checked my grammar. I used Grammarly website. So Grammarly or any other websites, they can check with, there they can uh, they will tell you what all things are needed to be improved. So once you are done with that, I think even if you don't know the topic, you can just sail through it. Don't worry about too much, that how I can memorize everything. You don't have to memorize everything. You just have to follow the structure, and I think that's enough. And another point in BC is that when I was going into the exam, first I had given REG and then I gave BC. So when I gave REG, I had a concept, this concept or this mentality that REG is a more lengthy, because it has more topics. It was a new subject and all, but I was able to finish it beforehand, before the clock struck 4 hours. In BC, I actually took 4 hours,
Okay.
although I was that it will be the lesser. So what happened is that the sims were new, and they ask anything. So you will have to be prepared for that. And time management is key. You need to do all the three mock tests. That is fabulous thing. What is there in Becker? You have to do those mock tests, so that you know how you are able to efficiently manage your time. One more thing is that one of the most underrated things that I see. I talk to people who are like who are from Simandhar. So you have created a fabulous job of creating a Telegram group of each subject wise. So in that we can ask our doubts, and we can learn from others' doubts also. Okay, now I see that many of them don't use it or don't see it. So that is the biggest loss actually, because from there your concept will get clarified to a lot of extent. So what I would suggest to everyone, that please use that. Another point is that there is a Facebook group of Becker also. So that also can be used, so that in that you will get people who have made summary notes. They will put there for your reference or for your usage. You can use that. Actually, most of the people don't use that. In the files section it is there, so you can go there, use that, and take 3 or 4, and then check out whichever suits you best and use that. So those are the things. There is no general one size fits all strategy for BC also, or for REG also for that matter. but you have to be consistent. That is my advice to everyone.
So I think this is a fantastic explanation for BEC. I would say, guys who are watching, reading newspaper is so very important. Reading the annual report is so very important. Apart from that, having the business knowledge of NPV, IRR, and though it is theoretical, but it is again very important to correlate it with the business context. And that is what Akshay is telling, that if you are not working, I think reading newspapers will definitely help you, because that will help you to understand the subject faster. It will help you in learning the subject faster, and that is what Akshay is relating to. And yes, and thanks to Akshay, at least after Akshay's message, a lot of the students at Simandhar, there are almost 1,000 students we have, they will see Telegram group and they will practice from the Telegram group a lot, because we keep sharing multiple choice questions in those groups. We keep sharing the conceptual questions. It is for your own practice, guys. I know when I tell, it will not have an impact, but yes, when Akshay will tell, definitely you will listen. So I think thanks Akshay for adding up, because that is very, very important. And even I see the Facebook groups of Becker. As you know, guys, Samandar is also one of the official partners of Becker here in India. So please do utilize the Becker product, because end of the day you are paid for it. Samandar anyways is just an value add for you, because end of the day that is what is very, very important. The product which contains all the mock test and all, though we will groom you, will motivate you, will teach you, but end of the day you need to solve those three important mock tests, which are very, very important, which are there in your product. So please don't miss that particular thing for sure. Akshay, now what about regulation? I know you will have leaps of praises for Surinder, because I've seen on LinkedIn so many of them writing for Suri. She's one of the favorite faculties, I would say, in Samandar. So, how do you think in REG, live classes or the recorded ones of the local faculties also are important? And how did you see it different? Because I know Indian taxation and US taxation is completely different, but how about your experience in REG, and can we leave business law there? Because a lot of the students ask me, can we leave law, sir, and we just read tax, and can we go in the exam? What is your take on regulation? Because the score of 94, and I know Nitin also I'll be having, because he scored 98 this time. So I have to understand that, because I myself have scored only 81 or 82. I remember when I wrote my CPA 10 years back. So I just want to know how it kind of how is it different from the chartered accountancy?
So yeah, reg was the first subject that I took up. Initially, when I was going through the Becker material, although Tim Garrity does a fabulous job, but it was very new for me, because it's US taxes. It's very much different, because already I have a knowledge of Indian taxes. So that it was becoming very much difficult to correlate both of them, because there it's all basis and stuff that is not there. Those concepts are not there in India at all. Okay. So then came what, as you rightly said, Surinder's role. So I took the live classes of Surinder, and she's a fabulous teacher. She made so much correlation between Indian context and US taxes, and she was able to explain those concepts which I was finding tricky beforehand. Very much easily I was able to grasp them. Another point was that I think I was one of the students who were asking most of the queries from her.
Yes, she used to tell me, actually a lot of the emails used to come from Akshay, and she used to keep answering that. And she said me actually that I think you would be the pick of the students. So that's a good thing about the students, is that they should ask questions. End of the day, that is why the faculties are there, and that's why the live and recorded classes of Samandar are there. So it is for the students to grasp that. So rightly pointed out, Akshay.
Definitely, definitely. I was scared also, because I was asking so many questions that I myself was thinking, I was taking pity on her, that what was what will be happening to her, because I am only one. Maybe many other students will be asking her. So, but then she was very much patient enough to answer each and every one of those queries, even on WhatsApp or emails, or during the live classes also. So that kind of helped me a lot, actually. To and when after doing her classes and getting all clarifications, when I was doing the Becker product again, then it was like a breeze. Then it became very much easier. Then I was solving the simulations, I was nailing down the MCQs. It was not becoming a heavy material. And it was the first topic that I had taken up. So that was also it was a big thing because a new subject. So that helped me a lot, definitely. And I'll also mention that other Simandhar students like Surya is there. He helped a lot. Then there was Anushka. She also helped a lot. So though you have to, so these bonds or with the other students, you can be able to talk with them only when you are active on the Telegram group. Otherwise, you will not be able to know who are the students who are actually helping you out or who have already done the subject. So those who have already done, they will be able to clear your doubts very fast. And so I would really say that for REG, you need to be very thorough. It has a bigger syllabus than BEC. BEC, many topics you would be knowing already, because not only CA, I would say, even in BCom, there are topics which are duplicated in BEC. So you will have that knowledge, for example, economics and all. But in REG, it's totally new. And if someone is saying business law, they can leave, then I think you're already smiling. So you know my answer that no one can help that person, because business law is around 30% of the syllabus. And there you can score, and you can score fast actually, because in taxation, you have calculations. Okay. You have to do maths. So that will take time. But business law is what you will have a theoretical question, and you can just select the answer and move forward with it. You will not get sims out of it, but MCQs, definitely there are a lot of MCQs that come. And if you are not thorough with that, then your scores will not be showing what you should get. So I would definitely tell that focus on both. First, nail down the taxation topics fully, then you move on to law. But you have to give equal importance to both, because how can you leave? See, the passing marks in CPA is 75, and 70% is out of taxation. Then how you are going to get 75 out of 70? You
True.
cannot guess. See, the CPA exam, it's very different beast altogether. You will not have any, like, for example, any guidebooks or any thing that you will have some important questions or something like that. I have given both the exams, and I can surely tell you that MCQs were the concepts that was used, which we read, but they were different. It was not that something is coming out of what I have done already. Okay, and simulations were totally new. So unless you have all the concepts together, I don't think you can just mug up and go sit in the exam, do some guesswork, and think that you will pass out. That will not happen. So you have to give equal importance to everything. And on top of that, in CPA, you don't know from which topic they will put more. They have given a blueprint that 30% will come from here, 15% from here, like that. But if they can change it also in the exam, you will not get to know that from one topic only they are asking you so many questions, and if you have left that topic only, then what will happen to you, right?
So I think this is a very, very important piece of advice, guys, who all are watching today us on YouTube. For regulation exam, the most important thing is you study everything. So if you are thinking that today Sripal and Akshay might tell that, okay, these are very important topics, basis related questions or ethics related chapter. Okay, if I can do this and I can go to the exam and pass. I think Akshay have pointed out straight away that 70% itself is taxation. So even if you study tax completely, also you cannot pass. So what is important is to read the easier section, which is law, which is more theoretical, very straightforward, not much here and there. You can easily prepare and answer it. And very nice to see Akshay pointing out some of the students like Anushka who have passed CPA in July, and she's now placed with EY, where she was helping out Akshay, and Surya also, who scored, I think, 91 in REG last time, and now he's preparing for FAR. So this student community or student support is so very important in your preparation. A study buddy, we say, right? So I think that is something very important, and for that, I think being in the Telegram groups, being in the study groups is very important, and creating that study community within you. I think that is what I would say. Thank you to the entire Simandhar team also, apart from me, Akshay, and all. I think the team have also done a lot of hard work in creating that community, almost of around 1,000 students today what we have. I think there are a lot of interaction and a lot of excitement there in the quizzes, which is again coming out to be very handy, because these are certain things actually I think a lot of the students don't answer in MCQs when we put it in the group. They think that, okay, this all we know, but this is a very, very important point which Akshay pointed out, that these subtle questions which we put it in the group can become very handy in clearing out your doubts and all sort of stuff. So, Akshay, how to maintain the balance between work and study, considering you're married and you are also blessed with a baby like last year or so? Correct me if I'm wrong. So, how did you do that actually? Because there are a lot of people who are there. I'd not say the women here, because they have their own different way of tackling the issues. Because we saw Gyan who was there, we saw the inspiring story of Gyan, who was one of our students. She wrote on LinkedIn how she secured 87 in PAR. She also had a family and how it was difficult to manage. In your context, Akshay, what role your wife, your family had to support in this particular thing? What are your thoughts on that, and what, how did they play a major role here?
Their support is of paramount importance, Sripal. As you also know, our kids are almost of the same age, I think. And sometimes I feel that I am not giving my kid the time that she deserves, but that are the sort of sacrifices that we need to make. My family, my parents stay with me, my wife, my daughter is there. So all of them sacrifice a lot. Whenever I'm studying, then they will not come and disturb me. Even my daughter also doesn't disturb me. Even at 2 years of age, she's smart enough and she understands that I'm doing something, some work, and she should not disturb me. So I feel guilty that I am robbing her of her own father and daughter bonding time. But then that is the thing that I what do I say? That is the decision that I took. Yeah. So even apart from family, some small sacrifices that I was a very much extroverted person, you know that. I used to go out, I was having always with my friends, and now everyone knows that I am not available. So I have lost touch with many of the friends. But that's how it is. Once I'm being able to clear CPA, then I know that it will be okay.
So I think
No
so
problem.
I think that's a very, very important point which Akshay have said is, I think the family plays an important role. And I know, Akshay, this is so inspiring because I think Akshay is, family have played a major role here, and where it kind of spoken about. I know Akshay is having certain disturbances there, but I think that is something which is very important, because your family plays an important role in this particular thing, and your kids are there, and it's not an easy thing to manage. I know Akshay from my Infosys days, when we worked together. I think almost it's 9 years now, been like we were Infosys friends before also. So I
Correct.
think that's where I can relate to Akshay's incident more. And the way it is inspiring for a lot of the professionals who all have their family. I think this is a very, very important point for you guys to understand, that it's people tell that it becomes very difficult when you have a family, but here is out the example that along with family you can still pass and you can get very, very good score, and that is very, very important to understand. So Akshay, one final question. So any additional tips would you like to give for the folks preparing for CPA? So one last question. I know we have taken a lot of time today of yours. So any last additional tips for people who are starting with CPA? What are those three things which you would like to add up that they should have within them to pass the exam?
So I think we have uh, we have extensively covered most of the points. Um, one point that I'd like to say, that you have to plan about the end goal from beginning itself. So, for example, you will have to think about what you will be doing before 2 3 days before the exam. Okay, most of the people I see that they will do. Even I was doing the same mistake earlier, but I rectified in between. That we will start up with chapter 1 and then go on to chapter 2 3 4 5 6, and after that we will again do chapter 1 and it will be like doing it again. Okay, so what I would suggest is that what I'm currently also I'm doing far, so I will be employing that strategy, that once I am doing one chapter and then second chapter I'm doing, then I'll revise this first chapter again. Also, although it will not be a thorough revision, but at least I will go through the topics that I, so that I'm sure that I'm not forgetting that thing. so that that revision is inbuilt. Okay, because for working professionals it is even more important to have revisions inbuilt into the your module. I think Irshad, uh, who became CPA, had emphasized on this earlier, so that was a very important point. That, and you have to plan that 1 week before the exam what I will be doing, 2 weeks before the exam what I will be doing. Mock test should be part of that. So that strategy, I would say that that should definitely be there. There cannot be a, as I said, there cannot be one size fits all. Every individual is different, but there are some points that are common for everyone. So this what do you say, like we do backflush accounting or just in time, that we go backwards. So our target is set that on this date I'm going to give the exam. So 1 week before I'll give mock 3. So you minus 1 week, then I'll give mock 2. Like that, then for giving the mock test, you need to complete the syllabus. No, otherwise, how you will give the mock test?
True.
Right.
True.
So completing the syllabus plus revision, those two things should be there as part of your strategy from the very beginning. So, and summary, you should have that summary sheet from the Becker group, from someone else, or you can make your own, so that at the end date you are not going to the entire book and searching the each page you are turning and getting frustrated. Better than that, you have a summary prepared and be confident. Just go into the exam, be confident. Don't get panicked if you see something new on the exam, because that can happen. There are some fake sims also there, which are called pre-test sims. So those will not be counted towards your scores. So you just assume that if you are finding something new or something hard, then you assume that that is the pre-test one and get over with it, so that at least you will not screw up whatever remaining is there in your exam. So these are some of the tips.
So I think this is very, very important because what Akshay is talking about is the pre-test questions which are not counted in the exam. So I think when I gave CPA, I also used to tell whenever I did wrong, and I used to tell, okay, this is pre-test and this will not be counted. So this is a very, very important piece of information, is preparing your own notes. Your summary notes are very, very important. And apart from that, revising couple of times the moment you have done that chapter, revising again and re-revising again with the mock test and all would be very, very handy. And thank you so much, Akshay, for taking out time today. It has been a wonderful 25 to 30 minutes what we had. And there has been so much about CPA, about the preparation strategy, about the struggles which you have faced. And I think people who are watching it, I think they will get their time completely worth it watching this. So people who are watching us, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Any comments, anything which you have, please do comment, please do like. And I and Akshay would kind of take it up those questions. Akshay is very much reachable on LinkedIn. You can always connect with him on LinkedIn and he can help you
Definitely.
out there in the CPA questions or anything which you have or any guidance you require. I think he'll be there. And even on Facebook he is, but as you have seen that his family is there. Today is a Sunday, so it's not an easy thing for him to come out and spend that valuable time with us. So thank you so much, Akshay. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope that Simandhar gets their what else award winner for sure. So there are two more exams, FAR and audit. I'm pretty sure you would be scoring above 97s in that also. So thank you so much, Akshay. Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thanks a lot, Shepal. The pleasure is mine only. And thanks to Simandhar team also. And what else? Yeah, let's see.
Thank you so much, Akshay. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.